Hello darlings, it's Tess, and today I am doing a DIY video for the back to school season. Despite being a 31-year-old hag, close to death I know, I remember in my younger and more vulnerable years, back to school shopping was one of the few good things about going back to school. So I find myself watching videos of it to this day. In Australia, our school year starts at the beginning of the calendar year because our summertime is like December, January. And that's obviously different to the Northern Hemisphere. But YouTube is primarily populated by Americans more than Australians, such as myself. And so the main back to school season on YouTube is Northern Hemisphere back to school time, which is now. So I am shamelessly taking advantage. But whenever your back to school is, for me, it was particularly fun because it was always a chance to get my hands on or back on reusable things to decorate. So as a creativity channel, I searched for back to school DIYs on YouTube and only found a few. They were either super little kid things and a couple of videos for older kids, but they were from forever ago and mentioned Visco girls. Now that is museum worthy. A suggestion I saw though was DIY school supplies with paper. And my antennas spiked. So if you want that, you guys, I will provide. I am a collage artist since age 11, so that's 20 years. So paper art is my area of love and expertise. So in this DIY video of aesthetic school supplies, I'm going to be giving you my best quick-ish tips on sourcing paper materials and different methods of how to use them. So first up, pick your aesthetic. Not the trend at your school, not Pinterest's micro trend, or TikTok's micro trend, or Instagram's micro trend, or Tumblr's micro trend, if you still use that. Tumblr kids, 2010 and onwards, that was me. Anyway, not any of those aesthetics, pick yours. Pick it for the reason of including and especially if it uses things you already have or could source inexpensively. I chose my color scheme aesthetic for this video for that exact reason. Start building your collection of paper things like magazine pages, wrapping paper, origami paper, candy packaging, anything that you find beautiful in the whole world. But if you want to start right now, trawl your Pinterest boards and your Instagram likes and your Tumblr archive if you have it. Download a horde of gorgeous pics, arrange them into documents on Canva, which is free, and get them printed inexpensively at a store. For us in Australia, that's Officeworks, and for you guys in the States, Google says that Walmart and CVS Photo do inexpensive printing. Or you guys can use your color printer at home if you have one. So here is my aesthetic for the school year that I'm not going back to. Purple, pink, and green. My three favorite colors. That way there's some cohesion in a color scheme, but I can show you some different methods of decoration in those colors. All of this book cover decor is no fancy drawing and no paint. It's my signature medium. As I said, paper collage. I love it because you don't need magic techniques with pencils and brushes from 1,000 hours of practice. Paper collage just needs scissors, a glue stick, anything made of paper, and hands that work. You can make a beautiful collage right now. I've also picked my three favorite colors because I'm already drowning in things of those colors. Magazine pages, stickers, specific images from Tumblr and Pinterest and Instagram that I've already printed for specific projects and I have them left over. I've already got it. Here is a hack I enjoyed using when I was making my high school things. Temporarily decorate, especially reusable things. So if you get bored of it, or the trend that you are totally ignoring changes, or it's the new year, you can switch it out. This is a binder, whatever you call them in your country, the thing that holds ruled loose paper, with a plastic sleeve on the cover that something can slip under, like this one. So you can make your page of aesthetic beauty and put it under the protective plastic of the binder, and when you want to change it, take it out and make another one. I decided to make a minimalist collage for you guys first, because my compulsion is really maximalist, which you might have seen in my bullet journal spreads. So I deliberately want to give you an example of something much calmer in case you want that. I'm using Faber-Castell metallic crayons in my 3 colors to draw the background because I love the shades of them, and I usually don't want any white space showing with me using only a few pictures in this composition specifically. I decided on these abstract organic swirling edges because my usual instinct for collage and art in general is organic shapes most of the time. Figure out what you gravitate towards with a few practice collages first and trust your personal taste. I knew I didn't want my few photo elements to be square and thus cover or clash with the background swirls, so things like my purple joy planner in a lid sheet or the picture of the wisteria fence weren't going to work. And I knew I wanted the moon as one thing, so I decided for my other 2 color elements on portrait style photos of also one main thing, in this case of single people to each photo. Green hair boy in one pic and Lana Jones rehearsing the lilac fairy in her stunning tutu in the other pic. When you're snipping small or detailed things, such as the green boy with the tiny flowers on his crown that I'm cutting around, move the picture more than your hand with the scissors, like I'm doing here. That way you're not twisting your wrist around and getting your arm exhausted. Here we have of changing my mind about the composition a million times after I chose and cut the pics. I was wondering about how the colors of the photos interacted with the background colors and whether they should clash, such as the green boy being in the pink area or the purple fairy in the green area. In the end, I decided to keep them mainly matching, such as the pink moon clearly touching the pink area. I decided Lana the ballerina's legs looked weird cut off flat at the bottom, so I decided to give her something to rest on. This is the top of a cake decorated with flowers. It's the cover of a cookbook that I bought and photographed so I could use the pic over and over. It does have the straight line cut off, but I decided I still liked it floating like that because she's a fairy and fairies float. That has nothing to do with classic composition rules and everything to do with my brain being absurd, but if your brain gives you any instinct whatsoever about what feels right, chase it. It's what makes your art special to you. With this second competition being maximalist, far more pics were needed, and so it took much longer to curate them. I basically effed around and found out while looking through my pile and got out the stuff that caught my eye immediately. Again, no one else has your instinct, so roll with what pulls you first instead of thinking it must look like a certain other artist. I like covering straight parts with my usual fave organic shapes, including having elements invading from the border of the page, so there's no space there either. I told you it was maximalist. Here I am using my aforementioned technique in cutting the organic sheen subject of the image by moving the image itself instead of my hand with the scissors. This yellow Yoo-hoo glue stick is my MVP, by the way, favorite of all my years. Green felt right down the bottom because grass is green and grass is earth level. Yes, really, my brain sometimes just works that way, like with the floating fairy in the last artwork. I sometimes keep edges peeled up deliberately to get other things under them, such as the straight parts of these pictures that I want to cover. I got the idea of the central pink tower from the tower-ish illustration of the dome, and then I decided to top it with the pink-haired girl like a stunning human gargoyle. I then decided to move the tower sideways, though, because I felt like centering and featuring the amazing pink jacket with patches by King Sophie's World embroidery. I then added the purple area looping up and around the tower because the pink and green areas were done and looking right, so I didn't want to add any more to them. Sometimes I go for placement via the edge that the picture already has when I cut it out, such as this photo of me holding the courage pin being perfect for invading the left-hand side because the cutoff of my fingers holding it is on the left already, and so I don't have to mess with it. Same with the purple rose cake having a square corner piece, so it's perfectly placed in my corner there too eventually. I cut out these big pointy purple flowers to deal with the weird wiggly gaps either side of the pink-haired girl's head, so I'm blocking my least favorite white space. Same with the little dragon snipped from a photo of a planner divider I made. Past collage feeding current collage. How about that? Art supply genealogy. You saw it here, folks. I then used my paint pens in my 3 colors to color in the tiny little white spaces that were left. Now I'll just give you guys some close-ups of the details to appreciate all the little things and the layers, because I love the idea of making a composition where the longer you look at it, the more you notice. Here I am painting the cover of my spiral-bound art diary white, so the washi tape trick I'm about to show you pops better. Obviously, you, buying your new supplies, will avoid this by buying one that's already a pale color. I'm only using this black one because I already had it, and I didn't want to get something new I won't use just for filming this video. So here we have washi tape stripes for those of you short on time and looking for exact matches on multiple things. Use the same washi's over and over on your different covers, maybe in different patterns so you don't confuse them. I know I would. So you could do vertical stripes like this on one, check tartan on another, etc. My green vine and pink stamp washi's are from Quirky Cup Collective. The lilac flower washi is from Paper Cooker. The purple moons are I can't remember. That's if you're wondering about these exact ones I'm using. You can of course find lots of washi you might like and for cheap on Amazon, but Jeff Bezos is a psycho. Please don't give him your money. Find other places if you can. Please, 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 please. Then I decided to change my mind on my washi tapes, and for you and your white cover, that won't matter. But it did for me because when I peeled up the washi, my paint peeled up. But again, you won't have that problem. This book therefore ended up looking a bit raggedy to me, but I finished it so you guys can see the technique in action. Fold the edges of the washi back over to the inside cover and tape them down to fix them. I used another strip of washi to show you because I couldn't find my duct tape, but you should use a strong tape like that to secure yours. And if you want to cover that tape, what a perfect job for the collage paper collection you've started. You can decorate inner covers too, of course you can. This paperback book is a guided journal I already decorated, but as I said, I don't want to spend money on another random paperback notebook that I have no use for. So I'll be showing you this as my example of 2 techniques, the mosaic method and the sticker book trick. I most often use the organic shapes I mentioned previously, but then sometimes I use straight edges and corners deliberately and exclusively if the images lend themselves to it. In this case, they do, because they're all paintings. These green stickers are curated from a fine art sticker book my mum gave me for Christmas. Hardback sticker books are a great investment if you want to make one because of the number of stickers you get in them, usually 1,000 plus if it's a big book. So it's bang for your buck and a very neat way to keep stickers as opposed to a million individual sheets. And usually one book has a theme or aesthetic so you can coordinate your different creations into your theme. For the mosaic trick, put down your favorite things first. For me, that was the ballerinas in the center, and arrange your other elements around them. If you have little strip gaps, take another plainer sticker you don't like as much and use an offcut to cover the blank part. Like the washi tape, I wanted to show you this method to differentiate from my usual compositions of organic shapes. If you want something that's easier for a beginner and shows off the whole of your pics rather than cutting into them, the mosaic trick is for you. Now let's assemble our two compositions into the folder and also fix a little rip in the plastic that I noticed was there using two very pretty washi tapes. Thank you so much for watching, darlings. I hope this satisfied your DIY school supplies with paper YouTube search and gave you some inspiration to try out analog collaging with scissors and glue and your two magic hands. You can collage digitally on Pinterest or Canva and print a single sheet, but I think doing it yourself with the paper elements is just so much more fun, and it means you can use non-digital things like stickers, washi, candy wrappers, fabric, and just about anything else that's flat. You can have a day with your friends where you share supplies. If you're collaging digitally, then you'll be staring at your screens and less engaged with each other, and that's what we all want to do less of, right? I'm going to leave some of my collaging videos on this channel linked down below if you want more inspiration. Follow my platforms linked down below too. I post there and here about journaling, art, craft, zines, writing, and occasionally creativity-based vlogs like markets or exhibitions. See you next time, and remember, I love you, keep going.